Kia ora from Aotearoa. This is Poppy here, talking about the current mind energies as I see them in my way with my meditations with Papa Tuanuku, which is Earth Mother or Pachamama, and through meditation and visions that I have. Okay, so today it's really important, I find, to really talk about sexuality, and these are the energies that are here. So the energy of 13 Serpent is one that calls for justice. It's an ascending energy, and it's leading on to the Death Trisena, which is about rebirth and dying and letting go and surrendering, but also opening up to opportunity, which is done in the surrendering and the letting go. The surrendering and letting go can come with such force during this storm day wave that we honestly can feel like there's nowhere to go, and the only thing that can happen is letting go. So it can be very challenging, very painful, but to actually understand that this is going to happen and this is our task can help us to get through, or help people get through. It can be very tough. Okay, and the 13 Serpent Trisena completed the Trisena of Reed, which was about the home and the family, and causes that need to arise, that need to have a voice. They cannot be suppressed or stagnant in our energy anymore. So a lot has arisen up through me. A lot's to do with my personal experience, but it's also to do with our global experience and why sexuality is really important, that we heal this together as humans. So spirituality and sexuality are very closely related. During my challenging time that I had to absolutely surrender and let go, with great difficulty I may add, and the need for support, I accessed one of the original traumas that was part of my lot, and it was the time of dissension. It was the time. So it came from a time where I knew absolute, pure and divine love, and my reality was based in absolute, pure and divine love, that we had knowledge and access to all things. And then a shocking trauma came, and as like an infection that came into humanity. And for me, it went right back to being sacrificed in a very bloodthirsty, nasty way in a Mayan lifetime. And I had to go through and remember this, because I've also been dealing with bone cancer, where I have had suppressed sexual satanic ritual abuse in there, and I have had to access memories in order to be able to let those cancer cells release from my body so that I will heal and pass through. So it's very much affecting my body, and many people now are feeling the fallout of broken and fragmented sexuality. There's aggressors and there's the victims, and they all need to be treated one and the same, with love and with dignity, because hurt people. There was an infection that came in very early on, which I would say would be the fall, where we fell from our connection with Creator and also our connection with divine time, but the Maya have kept it sacred for all of this time. Okay, so sexual suppression, it stays that way. It stays that way because of the shame and the uncertainty and the guilt. When a sexual misdemeanor, or whatever you want to call it, happens to a person, there becomes a barrage of energies that can hold them in a suppressed state where they can even bury it to the point where it cannot even be remembered unless it comes up for healing further along the way. Okay, it affects the life and the body. And look, there's just so many people that are suffering at the moment. I know of people close enough to me that are, young people that are committing suicide, attempting committing suicide, their friends are. This is the reality of this time. There's some people that are very, very lost, and it's the aftermath of the huge traumas that we have been clearing. So all of us that know that we are here to enter this 5D reality, we also know that we are here to help other people to come through and to enter. We're not just here for ourselves, but we are here to serve one another. And this is what's coming up for us in this time. Now, as I was connecting in with the energies, especially after I went through a hellish 24-hour period, when it's Easter, there's all sorts of ritual, there's all sorts of black magic ritual that are performed at this time. There's all kind of depraved thinking around sacrifice and the barbarity of that's portrayed in images and stories from the Bible, which are absolutely bleak, satanic, blood, death, sacrifice, and stories which have some truth, but they also have programming which affects the human consciousness. Okay, so what I saw, I really got that the cosmic egg had cracked, and I didn't really know what the cosmic egg was, so I had to look it up, and then I did find that it actually relates to Easter. And oh my gosh, the challenge of cracking that cosmic egg, oh my gosh, that challenge is incredible. That's why I kind of put a little word out, because I knew it was coming, but even I floundered. I really floundered with this. It was one of the most painful traumatic memories that I had, because it was more like the global satanic sacrificed regime, the whole mix of what happens with Easter in the satanic rituals that are performed at that time, which I felt and aware that young people, souls are getting lost at this time. Young people are trying to commit suicide because the energy's just come in so strong that anybody that's sensitive is having a really, really hard time. Okay, so it relates to religions, it relates to satanic regime, and now I've had to study things, and there is evidence that the Bible of today was actually written from the creation story of the Sumerian tablets. Okay, but they only took out an aspect of it, and they only went to the Saturnian god, the god of Saturn, the punitive, vengeful god that wants us all to fear and live in fear, not the actual creator who is one, we can be one with in the great field of love. So I had a religious phase in my life when I was searching for answers. I went to a church, I married someone within that church, he became a pastor, which I became the pastor's wife. It was a very misogynistic church, and I can share from my personal experience that the pastor was practicing dark sex magic rituals at night, and that actually has left me physically injured, and it exposed my daughters to danger. My daughters were not protected from sexual abuse, and my ex-husband brought paedophiles back into the house, or brought a paedophile back into the house, exposed my daughter to more danger. I did not take anybody seriously, will not even address the abuse now fairly and justly with any of us. Now I know that he was incredibly hurt, and that his practices and what he got involved with and where he went in his nighttime spaces with his addiction to some horrible sexual sort of things that happened that were done with enough power that I, as his wife at the time, was being raped by demons as he performed those things. Okay, so this is sickness that needs to be addressed for a lot of people. People that have been affected with satanic ritual abuse need to be healed. They need to have the way that really works for them, and there is nothing within the system. I've trained as a counsellor. I have a degree and a diploma in counselling, and I know that the system does not adequately supply the support, the voice for these people. In fact, too many people end up in psychiatric assistance. Okay, so there is a creator. Yes, I'm aware, but to me it is not that creator of the Bible or the Catholic Church or the churches. Now, satanic ritual abuse has come through churches. It's come about through the through the Catholic Church, where if you look at the symbology and everything there, you can see very easily, you don't have to look very far to see that it's a satanic regime. Even just to see that the Vatican sits on just about all the wealth of the world and has denied it from people to get the assistance and help that they need, but has actually heaped itself all to itself, and that the bankers, families, all these people that are involved have used black magic and time reversals to control and dominate this existence. And this is what we are cracking through and getting out of. So have hope and have faith. We are going to make it through. But people are being lost along the way. And this is where we have to have compassion and not just consider ourselves. Okay, so when I went through the energies of the 13 Serpent, it was hellish. It was hellish for me. I had to go through memories of the original trauma of being publicly humiliated, beheaded, sexually assaulted in front of a man who we would have been incredibly experiencing divine love. And so it was an incredible trauma. It set up the programs for the infection of everything that needed to be healed. But not only that, these kind of events and the initial infections and trauma, which I know someone who calls it the sperm of Satan, where even where the earth went onto a wobble and has been out of balance and out of harmony, and we're bringing back the balance and harmony with our consciousness. Okay, so the God that's in the Bible that I know, it's not the original creator. It's been a religious mindset that has bound many people. If truth sets free, the experience spoke to itself for me. I actually joined the church believing that truth would set me free, only to find that I was more bound up. I was getting harmed, I was getting injured, and so were my children, and I needed to take them out. Now, in my time of need, I called upon Auntie, a beautiful Māori elder teacher who is in my life. I called her up for assistance when I went through those memories, and I just felt that I couldn't get through. I doubted that I could pass through. It was so hard, when we go through these times, we can actually feel like we're dying, and an aspect of us is. Okay, so I know now that I was transmuting Easter energies, but what impressed me most is that this treasure of a teacher who was in my life, and she has the truth to share about who God and the Lord is. Okay, I've never been happy or comfortable, well, not for a long time, with these names and the frequency, because they are very dense. Now, my teacher, she's Catholic, but she's managed to brush off the illusion and the untruths, the parts of the Bible and everything, and the energies that were put in there that were satanic, the ones that are portrayed so barbarically and horribly through the Bible, with stories of fear and vengeance and the punitive God who's going to, in Sodom and Gomorrah and all the nasty stories of the Old Testament, the depravity, the heaviness, the denseness of this Bible, she has still maintained the essence of the true Lord. I don't want that to say that name. And what we come together weekly, and I find I can sing about Eo Mātua, Atua, the qualities of love, truth and honour with all my heart in Māori Waiata, which is Māori song. I can connect into this great field of love that is one with the Creator, and I can pass through the storms of transformation as one with this divine source, this true source. Not all that has been portrayed, not all of God is the true Creator. We have to be careful who it is. To me, the true Creator has never asked for worship. The true Creator has given us a story in a way where we could become Christed, anointed. I'm going to sort of talk a little bit more about that, how that relates into the Mayan way. So it was actually the fall from the complete balance and harmony that we once knew was the fullness of love, that was in purity and divinity, which has been our greatest pain. So we've been under this challenge, and through my meditations, I got a very strong message that the shell of the cosmic egg had broken this Easter. The egg of oneness and unity, our potential, our inner new reality that extends to us as our new earth, which is an outer reality that we are creating together. So I really picked up the phrase, the cosmic eggshell has broken, in meditation after passing through these heinous memories that I had to pass through. Look, I'm really trying to be non-judgmental. I realize that I have forgiveness that I have to have towards my ex-husband. Now I know that he was broken, and I call upon the Creator's help to help me forgive here and to heal my broken back that has come from that and has limited me and constricted me. And I've got bone cancer to heal still, but I tell you what, after I went through that, the fire that was in my bones that was hurting has calmed down, and the pain that was in my back has calmed down. So I know that I have actually done some good work in transformation, and these are what we all need to do. This is like we are here to transform with our lives. We don't just wait for time to do all this stuff. Time just doesn't come along and magically heal everything. We actually have to do the healing in our consciousness, and our consciousness is affected by the time waves that come through. So the story of the cosmic egg mentions how a serpent was wrapped around it. 13 Serpent was the day for me that I witnessed the breaking of the shell of the cosmic egg. That's what I saw. The serpent in the Mayan story relates to Quetzalcoatl, and that is the deity of time. It is the story of the cosmic egg. It relates to time. And there's a quote, and I've put a link at the bottom of my article that you can read more about, but do your own research. I just go with what resonates with me. I don't actually look at much other research. So this is what it said. The egg is the mysterious center around which unconscious energies move in spiral-like evolution, gradually bringing the vital substance to light. Now, to me, that spiral-like movement is the movement of time. It relates to the serpent. Quetzalcoatl, the unity of the universe of the cosmos is due. Quetzalcoatl is like the Christed, anointed energy that returns at this time. It's like what Christianity would be calling the second coming of Christ. Okay, but that coming of Christ is us, Christed and anointed, and our being with our energy, our kundalini, flowing completely through the body, where that anointing of the Christ is like the sweetness of the heavens that is within us, which is our true turn to balance and harmony. It happens within us. It is the rainbow bridge within us. It is the serpent within us. So the shell is broken, as I see it, and people are now passing through the birth channels to be reborn, free from the former constrictions and limitations that we've had because of the infection and the fall and the trauma that we have had. And there is an aftermath to clear. We may all be exhausted, but we have to pick ourselves up. We have to rise. We have to shine in love, acceptance, and forgiveness now. I'm talking for myself too, to help people pass through the birthing waters. You feel like you're going to die when you pass through the birthing waters. Life and death play together. They are one together. And we just entered now into the Death Trecena. It is the grand time of surrender. We don't have the answers to get everything. We surrender into the love of ourselves, our Christed energy, the Creator, our Heavenly Father, Father Sky, our earthly Mother, Source, Papatuanuku. And we help to free the way up. Now, I am talking graphically now more about some of the things that I have had. Now, my reason for that is because the scabs of sexual abuse and these suppressed infections have to be pulled off to let that infection out and to let it breathe and to let the stories be told and let the understanding come so that we can come around people now and help them to heal and not succumb to suicide. It pains me so much to see people committing suicide and attempting to commit suicide, finding absolutely no hope in this world anymore. So now I've become a part of a group, and we're working in making sure that people that have received this sexual abuse and this can actually have it. We need to find a way, because the money's been bound up in the Vatican and with the bankers, and I know that somehow there will be an outpouring of funding and it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to all happen, but we need to be able to do this in a decolonized way, which is out of the system. You do not get good fruit from a bad tree. The system is the matrix. It's based on on satanic ritual. We cannot look to the system to be our answer. We need to find it together within ourselves in a decolonized way. And it has to be done within unconditional love, the only force that heals broken sexualities. And this I know because unconditional love has come to me through someone who is helping me to heal from that. And I also have helped many people through unconditional love. I have helped many people through terrible crises to live, to not surrender to death of losing their physical form through suicide, but yes, surrendering to death through the form of letting go of the old aspects that constrict us and no longer serve us or serve creation. So I have had visions that something like this would happen, that centres would be created, that there would be help, and that it would start in New Zealand and it would go global. Aotearoa, the correct word. New Zealand's the name of a corporation. So, look, I just want to thank you to anyone who would like to contribute to this project. Please send me an email through my website if you feel the call, or you know within your heart that you would like to help or help many in this way, or if you are part of the funding systems, whatever it is, to evaluate this cause, to look at it. We desperately need to get out there and help people now. So if you can help, please, that would be absolutely I'd be so grateful, and so would so many people. This is how we need to go now. So I love you in Lakesh. Wata is a tradition that we have in Māori after a speech. So I'm going to sing. Okay. E tu kahikatea, he whakapai ururoa, awhi mai awhi atu, tatou tatou e. Which basically means to stand tall like the kahikatea tree and to be strong and like the hammerhead shark, to get through that, to embrace one another for everyone and everything. And so it is. So much love in Lakesh.